boys Charles Harris here locally in the community. Make sure y'all go check out Kneecap Body by Jeremy Smokin.
All right, everybody, and welcome to Kneecap Biting with Smokin Jeremy B. I have a few guests with me. I have Nina down here that is a 49ers fan, and I have Russell Wayne of the Main Event 365.
What's going on? Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I like having fans from the actual division rep their teams because it makes it more interesting when we start talking about the things we talk about. Mostly what I'm going to be going over is position rankings by group within the division. Like quarterbacks, it's basically down to the starter. And from everything I'm hearing from the 49ers, Lance is going to be the starter and Jimmy G is going to be the backup.
Yes, exactly.
So I really didn't have a question about it because I was like, well, that's what they said they're going to do. So that's what's going to happen. I don't understand it per se because Jimmy Garoppolo has an 80% win percentage when starting with your team, which that doesn't make sense to me to not start him when he wins so much. But at the same time, he's not going to win you games and he's not going to lose you games as a game manager QB.
Yeah. Also, I think it would be a great opportunity if Trey Lance also got a chance to play.
Oh, yeah, I agree. But they could put in a pistol wildcat formation where they used him more and do the RPOs, and yet Jimmy G just basically run the basic offense. I think it would be behoove Trey Lance in his growth because they said when he came out of college, he was 2 to 3 years away from being a bona fide NFL starter. He needed that time to grow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he definitely has not shown that he is a solid starter to get rid of somebody that's solid like Jimmy G. I agree with you in that point.
So that's why I'm where I'm at with it. And I understand some fans absolutely hate Jimmy G because he can't stay on the field. He's on the field for 12 games a year, and he wins you 8 to 10 every year. I mean, that's what he does.
Yeah.
I mean, in availability is the best ability. But in the 5 games when Trey Lance was there, he wasn't horrible, but he wasn't great either.
Well, that's because it's his rookie year and he needs time to develop and he needs time to learn. He's been practicing in the off season. From what I hear, he's doing really good.
Well, that's good. That being said, let's get into the meat of the situation. And I want you to rank the QBs in the NFC West where you have them top to bottom.
From top to bottom.
Yep.
Well, since Trey Lance is starting, I would have to, for right now, that's kind of hard to decide on that part. I'd probably put him at 3. I'm not going to be homerish here.
Awesome.
But I'm just going to be honest and truthful here. I think it's going to be like Matthew Stafford at the top. It's going to be Kyler Murray, Trey Lance, and Drew Lock.
Or Geno Smith, because I've heard out of their camp. I heard out of their camp they're talking about starting Geno Smith over Drew Lock, and I'm like going, "Oh my God,
okay,
it's bad there."
I'll put Geno Smith in last, but I mean Trey Lance still has to prove himself. You know, that's why I'm putting him at 3 for right now. But I mean, a young quarterback like him, he could come out and prove in any way, but I mean, as of right now, he hasn't proven yet. So
see, because I had it as 1, 2A, 2B, and then 3A, 3B. And 3A, 3B was both of the Seattle quarterbacks. The 2A, 2B was Kyler Murray and Trey Lance because their style of play is very similar. They're both very athletic. They like to get outside the pocket. They like to run, but they have a good arm when they use it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I had Matthew Stafford at the top because 41 touchdowns, 19 interceptions. That breaks down to the exact same percentage. There's a certain quarterback everybody's been trashing in Detroit. but that's another story.
Well, I think that's great. There's a great comparison right there. Is Jared Goff and Jimmy Garoppolo? Is when I look at this division, I think that I can agree with both of you guys that that Seattle's probably the dumpster fire of the 4 teams. So we can stick them down all the way at the bottom. But I do have you flip-flopped right there. The 49ers are such a solid team with, outside of the quarterback position. So, I mean,
the defense has improved.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes.
They're so good. I'm a huge fan of Bosa. And,
their front line is very menacing. Their linebackers are above average.
Ohio State.
Yeah.
So they can get pressure to the quarterback. So if you have a good defense, then that will carry you a lot of the ways that, they can cover up a lot of Trey Lance mistakes if he gets in there. So I guess I can understand the psychology, but I think at the end of the day, the 49ers finished second in that division. And
also,
I have the same thing.
By Jaquaski Tart getting signed by the Eagles, he's no longer the starting safety. I mean, he's not like he used to be.
Right. His brick hands did cost you guys that division championship.
Yeah, that's one.
As much as I hate to say it.
Also, Jimmy G, he also had to have that shoulder surgery. He was injured, and he kept throwing that ball away so he didn't have to get sacked. So, I mean, Aaron Donald was coming right at Jimmy G. And he was throwing that ball away so he didn't have to get sacked. And he threw a couple picks.
What a beast.
What a beast.
You just made the list.
So
yes. Well, we got Facebook user coming in saying, what up, Doe? And I'm debating if that's LL Cool Torrance, Luke G Field Review, or the Man of Steel, Curtis Steele from the Detroit Lions on the Prowl himself that made that comment. Please let me know in the comments which one you are. That being said, I went with my rankings. Russell did his. Let's go on to the running backs. And, if Chris Carson and Rashad Penny could stay healthy, I might. And it's Kurt Steele. All right. The Man of Steel himself. The running back room. And that's kind of weird because, if they could stay healthy, they would be one of the best running back rooms in the division with Seattle.
Who? Oh, Seattle.
Seattle. Because, outside of the quarterback and the O-line, they have decent pieces in place. But when you got running backs like Chris Carson, who misses anywhere from 5 to 12 games a year, then you got Rashad Penny, who's a first-round pick that had one game where he looked like a first-round pick. Unfortunately, it was against my Lions last year. And then now they got Kenneth Walker there, and I think right now, because both of them guys are hurt, he's looking like he's going to be the starter. So I can't really rank them at the top because we don't know what Kenneth Walker is going to bring in the NFL. His style of play is good. It's a powerhouse workhorse type of back. But as we see, as they go on into their progressions, the workhouse bell cow backs like that, by 4 or 5 or 6 year, they end up hurt.
Right.
So
that what we doing? We go round table here on the Seattle running backs.
No, I'm just going to go about the running back room in general for each team. I think I got it as Rams Niners as 1A, 1B. And James Conner is great for Arizona. He did a great job, and that running back room was out. They were actually pretty decent. So I think I have them next, and then Seattle at the bottom because they got 2 guys that can't stay healthy.
Okay.
Yeah, the Niners try.
We got Elijah Mitchell. We got Jeff Wilson.
It hurts losing
Jr.
Raheem Mostert.
Raheem Mostert is with the Dolphins now.
Yeah, it hurts losing him. That's what I said. It hurts losing him because he was kind of a workhorse.
Yeah.
They drafted a guy too, didn't they?
Yes.
So that's there's a guy with a good opportunity. because that 49ers room is not stable. So the last couple of years, haven't they had a new starting running back like each of the last few years?
Last 3 years in a row, there's been a new guy that's had to start, whether due to injury or the loss of somebody. They've had a new starter for the last 3 years in a row.
And Arizona doesn't. They don't really run the ball anyway, unless it's kind of through Kyler Murray,
and James Conner now, because James Conner actually had a decent year.
But it's just like that style of offense where they're trying to get to the line really, really fast and run as many plays as possible.
Yeah, they try to go very up tempo. It's weird, how many teams are trying to do that. But there's a thing with Arizona, and there's a reason why I don't have them number 2 and why I have them 3rd, and they might actually miss the playoffs this year. The Kingsbury flop. Every year, somewhere between weeks 8 and 10, all of a sudden, the Cardinals go away from everything that worked on offense, and they flop.
Do you know why? Do you know what happens? Is they wear themselves out. So they're snapping. They go 8-9 games, and it's working, and all of a sudden, like, they can't keep up with that pace for 17 games.
Oh,
so.
But Kingsbury did the same thing in college when he was a coach. They would go for the first half of the season, 6 games, and then the last 6 games they'd fall apart and miss the playoffs.
Well, it doesn't. I mean, go ahead.
Did you hear about DeAndre Hopkins?
Yeah, he's going to miss 6 games due to PEDs. So that's the next room we're going to, because I go right down the list.
Yeah, nice segue.
Yeah, great segue.
Nice.
Well, where do you have the running back rooms ranked? Are you about the same that I have, kind of Rams, 49ers, or Rams, Cards, 49ers, then Seahawks?
Yeah, in the running back room, but the quarterback room is way different.
If you do the room, I only do the starters because usually that's all you see.
The starters,
yeah, because other than Seattle, we don't know who the starter is because, as far as I'm concerned, they don't have a starter.
What's this I hear that they're trading for Baker Mayfield?
There's been lots of rumors about it, but nothing has been confirmed by the Seattle front office, and I don't think they want to pay the price that Cleveland wants for him.
Right.
I think they can wait, and then they can get him for a bargain, like in week 4 or 5, and still salvage their season. You know what I mean? Because Baker has not shown up to camp there. He doesn't want to do anything. He's losing that bonus money. He don't care. He doesn't want to be there anymore. But yet they're like, hey, do you want to come back and play for us? This would be really nice.
After they pay all that.
Because we're going to touch on why they want Baker Mayfield back. And I'll tell you, it's great what I saw about the report coming out of NFL.com. Because I think it makes Bob Quinn look like a bigger idiot once again as assistant GM.
Yeah.
Well, he's on his way out, right?
He should be. If it was my team, he'd have been fired. Bob Quinn is that guy, if it wasn't an O-lineman, if he suggested a player and he was on my staff, yeah, that's the guy we're not taking.
Yeah. Shut up, Bobby.
If it's O-line, I'll listen.
Bobby.
If it's O-line, I listen, because if you look at his first-round picks as O-line, they've been money. Taylor Decker, Frank Ragnow, even Jonah Jackson in the 4th round. Graham Glasgow was good out of the 3rd round.
He was great at offensive linemen. That's what he inherited, but that's how cool Aaron Glenn is. Or not Aaron Glenn, but Brad Holmes, understanding that you got 3 solid corner pieces, and then you start from the middle. Now they solidified the other line. So,
yep. But that being said,
wide receiver.
Where do you rank those running back rooms, Russell?
The running back rooms?
Yeah, are you about where I'm at?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Rams probably have the most solid room, because I mean, when you look at Henderson and Akers coming back, going to be healthy, I mean, that may be one of the better running back rooms in the league. Cardinals, they don't really run the offense through that, so I'd actually put them on the bottom. Kenneth Walker could be as good as anybody. He's used to running the ball 60 times a game or whatever they had him doing at Michigan
Yeah, that's
State.
what worries me, because when they come out of college after running that much, they have a tendency to end up like Chris Carson.
So I probably put the 49ers as the third best. I put Seattle at 2. Just because I don't know what the 49ers are. I mean, they could be very good or they could fall off a cliff because I don't know what they have there. So,
I mean, last year we've been having Debo playing 2 positions because all our running backs and Elijah Mitchell was only limited in some games.
That's why he wants that dollar. He wants them to pay him. I mean, if you're using me like 2 positions, I want to get paid. Like,
he
I'm
was playing
2 positions.
wide receiver and running back.
All right, Russell, wide receiver rooms for the NFC West. Where are you at?
Well, that's not fair because of the quarterbacks, but I mean, I actually think that the Rams definitely with Allen Robinson and Cooper Kupp, that's pretty ridiculous, and then they have a bunch of great role players. So Rams definitely top of that list. Seattle just Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, they just don't got nobody to throw them the ball. So I actually think the 49ers wide receivers will do better. So I'll say Rams, Seahawks, 49ers, and then the Cardinals.
Okay. Well, DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are formidable, but their quarterback sucks. So I agree that they're going to be moving down. So let's see. Yeah, Rams, because with Allen Robinson, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods coming back. Yeah, that's a deep wide receiver room. I kind of have the 2A, 2B is 49ers and Seahawks, and but you got to kind of throw the Cardinals in there, but D-Hop isn't playing the first 6 games. So that kind of lowers the expectation.
Suspended.
Yeah.
Hollywood has the dropsies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why the Ravens were willing to trade him away, even though that was Lamar Jackson's favorite target. When you're dropping 13% of your passes, that's not good.
Right. And Lamar was putting it on him a lot of the times too. It wasn't like they were inaccurate passes. I've seen a couple of them.
I'm talking where they were dead in his hands and all of a sudden they just hit the ground and you're like, wow, I thought he was supposed to be great.
Aren't you a pro? I mean, come on.
Right. That's your only job. Get open and catch the ball.
Yeah. I mean, Rondell Moore, we don't know what he is yet. He could, second year wide receivers, but that's just it. That's why I put the Cardinals. They're down at the bottom of that list.
That's why I have them there. If you got Debo, you're definitely the second best room in the division. He was torching Okuda that first half, and then when he finally gets him stopped, he gets hurt. It sucked.
So wide receivers, that one with them. Yeah, okay. It looks like the Rams are just going to kill everybody.
Tight ends, I got 49ers at the top.
We
Zach
got
Ertz
Kittle and Dwelly.
Yep.
For tight ends.
Eric Sean says, "Man, my internet is screwing up more than Bob Quinn tonight. That's bad."
Did your internet just draft a tight end? That we're on the tight end room now
in the first round, no less. But anyways, we got I got 49ers at the top. Grady Everett was good, but with the Seahawks, he's been mad. But that's because Russell Wilson, the only tight end he used was Jermaine Graham at the end of his career. It's crazy. But so I think second you'd have to go with the Rams, even though they had a nobody. He did well. Higbee, is it?
Higbee.
Yeah. And then you got 49ers, Rams, Zach Ertz and company there at the Cardinals, and then Seahawks. That's the way I got that.
Yeah,
no disagreement there.
I got the Cardinals. You know, I got Zach Ertz at 2. I got Kittle's the best tight end. Then Zach Ertz, and then the Rams.
Eric Sean said it drafted a punter to play tight end.
What about how about a long snapper?
Well, now we're to the O-lines, and I think, last year the Rams were the number 1, but you got an unknown at left tackle now.
Yep.
Because Whitworth retired. I have the feeling that room may take a step back, which means you got to put the 49ers up top, then the Rams, then the Cards, and then the Seahawks, because that's always been their downfall, has been their O-line.
Yeah, but
we lost Tomlinson, so
yeah, Laken Tomlinson is a hit. He went to the Jets, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be starting Aaron Banks.
Oof.
From what
I still have the 49ers second. Yeah, because if you look at Kyler Murray, if he isn't doing an RPO, he's sacked.
Right.
Just ask the Lions defense. They had 4 sacks that game.
They had the worst line in the West.
And then on the right tackle, we still got Trent Williams, and he's the best one on.
Yeah, as far as left tackle, he's the best one in the division.
Yes. Trent Williams.
Yeah, some unknowns on the Rams side. I think the Cardinals are the worst. I would put them at the bottom.
I have. Okay, so you switched the Seahawks and the Cardinals from my list, right?
Yeah, and I like the 49ers into the Rams at 2. At least the Rams have. The thing is like with the 49ers and the Rams, when you lose middle guys, it's like middle guys are a lot easier to plug in next man up mentality. So yeah, you lost Tomlinson, but next man up.
Eric's on fire again.
Also, on the O-line, we also lost our center. He just retired, Alex Mack.
Oh, yeah.
Jake Brendell's going to be taking the starting position in that place.
Okay, well, maybe the 49ers aren't going to be that good on the O-line.
Jake Brendel.
That sounds like a Bob Quinn pick right there.
It did.
Oh my God.
Oh, then we got now we're to the D lines, and that's where it gets nasty.
That's where it's at.
Yep, the D lines is harder to judge in the NFC West than any of them because they're kind of all right there. I mean, Seattle has a decent D line. The Cards have a good D line, but I have Rams and 49ers as 1A, 1B. I mean, you got Aaron Donald with the Rams, and you got Joey Bosa and company with the Niners.
No, Nick Bosa.
Nick Bosa, Joe is Chargers. His brother. I forgot. Either way,
also
Nick Bosa also gave a great compliment to Penei Sewell when you guys played him. He goes, "That guy's the real deal. He's going to be good."
Uh-huh.
He didn't back down. He didn't back down from Aaron Donald either. They got chippy with each other. That was great.
Yep. For sure. And the Cardinals, they just lost their best D lineman, Chandler Jones. Where did he go?
I think he went to the Raiders.
Yeah, he went to the Raiders.
So
Eric Sean says it's Niners and Rams all. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
And the Rams also signed Bobby Wagner, linebacker that was formerly in Seattle.
Right.
So
Eric Sean says the Niners and Rams all day in this division. Murray is mailing it in. Everyone has him figured out. And Seattle with a long snapper at QB stinks.
That just proves Arizona just sucks.
Yeah.
That's right. I said it.
I think they'll be okay. I think they're going to be a middling team, 7 to 9 wins tops. But that's another story. Linebacker rooms. the Rams lost some, so I'm going to have them second. I got 49ers top, Rams second, Cardinals third, and Seahawks at the bottom of the barrel again. I mean, all they got is, do they even have Bobby Wagner anymore, or did they not re-sign him?
No, the
Rams signed Bobby Wagner.
Yeah, okay.
They took,
but they still lost. They lost on the outside, is why I moved them down. By losing Von Miller, that's a huge hit.
Oh,
he went to the Bills.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I considered the Von Miller was the D end because don't they run 4-3 instead of 3-4 in LA.
Zona could be good, but when your QB is just cashing a check, what can you do with that? Well, I don't ask a lot of teams that have QBs that cash a check.
Defensive tackle, we lost DJ Jones.
Yeah, you lost DJ Jones.
We lost DJ Jones, but in place of him, we got Hassan Ridgeway from the Eagles.
Yeah, that was a good pickup. Ridgeway's a decent tackle. I mean, it's kind of no talent loss there. All you got is a little bit of age difference.
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean,
we signed a lot of younger guys.
Yep, and defensive backs.
That's where we were struggling the most last year.
I have it as Rams, and as much as I hate to say it, I got Cardinals above that, then 49ers, then Seahawks.
Yeah.
Because all Seahawks has is Quandre Diggs. Oh, somebody playing with the views.
What's going on?
Oh, he's playing with the view.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
But we're on defensive backs now.
Yeah, defensive backs.
Yeah. I mean, by signing Charvarius Ward and Darkway Stannard, and then also drafting Tyreek Castro-Fields was a good pickup.
I got Facebook user going Rams over 49ers. Rams got Wagner, and he's still a good LB. 49ers and Rams top in that division, even if Mayfield would go to the Seahawks.
But
that's
Seattle.
all right. Yeah, exactly.
I can't stand Seattle. I can't even stand the Rams. They just keep talking about,
Well, this is a great comment by Eric Sean. Rams are like our country's deficit. How are they getting players still when their cap is negative? That is because of a loophole in the NFL CBA of cash over cap, where the owners inject part of the team's profits to make it so they can cover salaries when they're over the cap.
Well,
so cap is fluid. You do bigger bonuses and incentives and stuff like that to keep it off the books till the end of the season.
Well, that's true.
That's just what they do. And special teams, God, you guys got a great set.
Robbie Gold.
Yeah, Robbie Gold.
Yeah.
Cap is a myth. Somebody said.
I'll never forget. Robbie Gold kicked that game-winning field goal, 13-10 in the postseason against Green Bay.
Green Bay.
You hear this?
I was a 49er fan at the time. Yes, I know. And then the block punt for a touchdown.
Yeah, Jordan Willis blocked that punt, and then Talanoa Hufanga, who is going to be taking Jaquiski Tartt's place.
Right.
Was the one who recovered that block punt and ran for that touchdown.
Yeah, he ran for his life because that running back, the gunner running back that was there, was chasing him down. He was like, oh my God, I'm going to get hit. He doesn't like to be hit. He likes to hit.
Yeah.
I think that means it needs to be a slow motion Jaquiski Tartt, like right as the pass is coming in, playing some in the arms of the
and then once the ball goes right through and
then he falls to the ground.
And he falls to the ground.
Mike Anderson throwing shade. Lance is soon to be a bust. We don't know that, but you never know when you're talking about
that. He's only on his second year.
He's on his second year. If he busts, he busts. But any first round pick busts at a 68% rate. That means only 32% of the teams get it right. A third of the league gets the first round pick right. Period.
He's got the skills. I mean, he gets some, especially on that team. Like that defense. He's got forgiving.
He's got a strong arm with a more accurate arm than a guy that a lot of Lions fans wanted us to take. Just saying.
Are we on that Malik hype train, man?
No, not the Malik hype train. The Malik bus train. That's what I've been on the whole time.
Yeah, well, 3 overall and third round. It's like, yeah, third round. Yes, that's not a bad spot to take a developmental quarterback.
Exactly, because that gives you a chance to let him develop. There's no rush to make him a starter. Mariota. He's with Atlanta. That's where Ritter went. And Ritter went before him, as I said would happen before the draft. Mike Anderson. I remember when Niners fans said, wait for Jimmy G to learn their full playbook. Laughing my ass off. Now he's on his way out, too. It's not wrong.
Jimmy G's like the new Alex Smith.
Yep.
At least he's got a decent line.
Yep. He's got a decent line in front of him. Got a good wide receiver room. He's got decent running backs.
Yeah, there could be good run games.
I just think you guys are going to be going to more of an RPO type of offense if you plan on starting Lance. That's what I see happening.
Yeah.
And they should. With that defense, they should be going more ball control anyway.
Right. That being said, we've covered all the positions. It is now time for me to pay my bills and talk about my sponsors.
And thank you for having me on.
Oh, we're not done yet. We're going to talk about Windows and Wins. In the middle of the show, I always like to give credit to my sponsors. Because they're the reasons why I'm on the air. A1 Tire and Auto Repair, 3 locations to serve in the Tri-City areas, 1 in Cucaulin, 1 in Bay City, and 1 in Saginaw. Good used tires at a decent price and an excellent price on new tires as well. And also, Mad Lab Custom Creations, for those of you that like signed memorabilia, like mini helmets and stuff like that. He does custom paint jobs on them, and they're pretty sick. Check him out. He's on Facebook on Why Not page. That is ran by Dan Leonard, a guy that frequents the show as well. That being said, our next topic would be the window of wins for each team in the division. And this is where it gets sketchy. I'm going to start at the bottom and work my way up, and then I'll go around the room. I have Seattle with 3 to 6 wins, because I don't see how that offense is going to get rolling. I got the Cardinals with that 6 to 9 window.
What the frick?
I got the 49ers in a 7 to 10 win window, and I have the Rams in that 9 to 12 win window. What do you think, Nina? It's hard to say that that's what it's going to be, but that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree, because still
there's too many unknowns on all the rosters. Yes. But what we do know is the Rams are a defending Super Bowl champion, and they kind of ran away with it in the second half versus Cincinnati. And literally, Cam Akers finally showed up. I think it was in the third quarter, and started running away from the Bengals defenders.
Well, I think that it's the Seattle's just kind of bad. So if they don't even win 6 games,
yeah, I put that as their ceiling, because 5.5 is what Vegas has them at.
I think the Cardinals will finish in 3rd. I think that they did get exposed a little bit. So unless they make a change to their philosophy, they'll and the 49ers are just a good scrappy team. It really doesn't matter who they have at quarterback. They'll play D. And then the Rams they're in a special window right now. They could repeat. They're good enough to repeat. So they're the team to beat. It's their division to lose. I see them winning 10 to 15 games.
Wow. Well, all I know is the NFC West got one of the harder schedules, and the NFC East got the easiest schedule. The North is in the lower part of the middle.
Except for the Lions, they got the easiest one in the North.
Eric Sean says, Rams, hopefully the real Stafford shows up and they only win 9 games.
Yeah, I mean, I put a pretty big window in there just because, like, they got guys and everything, but it's very, very hard to repeat.
Well, it's, that team wins despite no matter who's their quarterback anymore. Everybody says what they want, but Goff didn't have a losing season with the Rams.
No.
With McVay there after the team was getting sort of complete. Every year, the first year, 12 wins with McVay? The year they went to the Super Bowl, then they had 9 wins, then they had 10 wins. I mean it is what it is.
Aaron Donald and Von Miller, nothing scored in the last 8 minutes. I don't even think they got a first down in the last 8 minutes. Goff could have did that. Goff could have went out there and had a defense that didn't allow anything for 8 straight minutes in the Super Bowl. So, I mean, yeah, they have the defense to do that.
I think this guy is totally wrong. Seahawks and Lions will be fighting for the 4th pick in next year's draft. I don't think the Lions will be picking that low.
No way. No way. We're too tough up in the.
You got the Jags roster looks worse than the Lions right now. The Texans roster is trash. The Seahawks is trash. The Jets are improving, but they haven't proved anything yet. The Giants are improving, haven't improved that much either. Then you go to the AFC North, who looks like they're starting Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I don't even think that the Lions are going to be like even a bad team. See, they're good in places that nobody's even talking about. Everybody wants to say they're going to fail because of the names that everybody knows. But it's the trenches. Like, who's your defensive line that's going to get by Penei Sewell, Taylor Decker, Frank Ragnow, Jonah Jackson, and Haloti Booty Vaitai? Who you got? Who's out there that's going to stand up? Because they stood up to the Rams last year with Donald and Miller.
They stood up to the Ravens, which was an excellent pressure team. They stood up to the Packers in the last game of the season. Oh, did I say that out loud?
But it was only for a half, Jeremy.
Oh, yeah.
They only won. They put in their third string. That's the only reason that they won. It's like,
right. Yeah, we were starting practice squad in
cab drivers.
and water boys and grocery baggers.
Hold on a sec. My phone's only at a 10% right now.
Oh, that's why it's been messing up. Gotcha.
I can barely understand.
Yeah, with a better QB, they're not going to stomp them this year.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's a Russell Wilson.
But Russell Wilson isn't what beat us. It was Rashad Penny.
Yeah.
Who rushed for like 150 yards for the first time in his career.
And the Lions drafted somebody 2nd overall and at 46th overall that they were drafted to stop the run
and get to the QB,
seal the edge, and get to the QB. 15 sacks. I want 15 sacks in a combination between Pascal and Hutchinson. I don't care how it happens. It could be 8-7. It could be 10-5. But out of my rookie pass rush, I want 15 sacks.
And actually, Eric Sean, according to NFL.com, TJ Hawkinson is a top 10 tight end. He's ranked 8th overall. Yeah, Eagles were a better team at the time. Good Lord, that team rushed for over 180 yards.
Yeah, the Lions had two really, really bad games last year. Seattle, and then I think it was it Cincinnati that blistered
Eagles
us as well,
and the Eagles. Ah, gotcha.
But after week 10, it seemed like they started finding at least a little bit of identity, and yeah, at 4th overall, we're going to be picking 4th. That's what
all 3 teams we beat. One was pushing to try to get into the playoffs. One wasn't, and the other 2 were number 1 seeds at the time in the NFL. Say what you want. And we heard from Packers fans for 2 weeks straight, oh, we can't wait for our backups to beat your backup team. Your starters weren't beating the backups. Oops.
And the thing is, it's like, what are you doing? You're ripping on us for winning a game. It's like, what do you want us to do? Not try because it hurts your Packer feelings? Like, like we're supposed to feel bad. I feel bad, Jeremy. I can't believe they won.
And now we're to my favorite part. It's where the people talk about whatever they want. But here's the NFL news I wanted to share. Watson will get no less than a year suspension, but the league is pushing for an indefinite one, which makes the Browns look like absolute fools for making the trade and giving him the bag. Does anybody disagree with that statement?
Well, it depends. Because we don't know if it's an indefinite suspension. I guarantee that they have something in that contract that says that if you never play football, that part of it can be voided. There's no way that they're on the hook for the whole 230. That's my opinion.
Holmes was GM. You're talking about Campbell and Johnson called the plays at the end of the season.
What?
Carrick Sean, Quinn had to be behind the trade. With as much as they gave up for him, I wouldn't believe
That's awesome. That's awesome. That might be the best take of the day. Quinn was behind the. You're a dumpster fire, Bob Quinn.
Yeah, sorry. I still remember the picture after the Texans game, and they did API put out a picture where they zoomed in on the booth, the owner's booth, and next to her was Bob Quinn with his eyebrows raised and eyes glazed over like this and a frown, and Sheila Ford Hamp was like this. And we didn't hear anything for Bob Quinn for 6 months until he got his job at that point with the Browns. And I literally said, I think Bob Quinn's head was mounted in Sheila Ford Hamp's office as a reminder as to what not to do as a GM and fail.
Bob Quinn went down is the worst. I mean, is he worse than Millen? Was it worse than Millen?
He's on par. On par. Shorter window. I mean, we didn't wait on him too long.
Well, does this Deshaun Watson stuff on his watch, does that officially put him in the worst GM of all time in history?
Yeah. Let's alienate your starting QB, who you could have exercised the 5th-year option to have him next year again, who actually won your only playoff game since 1991, the same year that we had our last playoff win?
Yeah.
Let's alienate that starting QB. That was awesome. That makes a lot of sense. I just think Browns are in a lot of trouble because Baker won't show up to camp. He won't do anything. He won't even grab the playbook. And Jacoby Brissett's going to be their starter who, let's see, when Tom Brady, then Jimmy G went down, who looked okay with New England but hasn't started but maybe 3 games outside of that? And Eric Sean says Quinn sold his firstborn for a can of expired tuna. That's getting a star.
So for the last 20 minutes, we're going to just come up with ways to make fun of Bob Quinn.
Quinn Trasho was the worst regime ever.
Yeah, I think as a combo.
Yeah. Millen at least found late round gold. He just drafted dumb, meaning our needs were D-line and he drafted O-line. Yeah, he also drafted 4 first-round wide receivers in his tenure.
Mike Williams, Charles Rogers, Roy Williams,
and Calvin Johnson was the only one that really panned out.
Yeah.
Linebackers, Ernie Sims, Boss Bailey, Teddy Lehman, Jordan fucking Dizon.
I mean, could you imagine him not taking Calvin Johnson?
No,
like I mean,
there's a story behind that.
Couldn't believe have even got.
I used to deliver into the Troy Warren area, deliver water for a water company out of Burton, Michigan, and one of my customers was Wayne. Guess who was his neighbor? Matt Millen.
All right.
This was 2005. And I sat there and I just read that next thing about who was going into college. And it was all about Calvin Johnson. And I walked into the room and I saw him sitting there and I said, I don't mean to talk Lions, but if you're not drafting Calvin Johnson in 2 to 3 years, you're a bigger idiot than everybody thinks you are. Just saying.
Yeah. I mean, I remember the hype when Calvin Johnson came out, and it was just like a no-brainer. And actually, the fact that was it Jamarcus Russell was that
went first, yes, to the Raiders.
Could you imagine? Like, oh my,
that's almost as bad as a few years later they picked Darius Hayward Bay.
Yeah, they yeah, you can really mess up them first round picks.
Clelin Ferrell for DT out of Clemson, a guy that already had injury issues.
So I got here's a bit of just like imagine, right? Now imagine that they didn't take Calvin Johnson and they took Adrian Peterson instead. So you get Matt Stafford and Adrian Peterson through the prime of their career. So how do you think that turns out, Jeremy?
With our O-line, I don't think Adrian Peterson would have stayed healthy. just saying. We had guys that had no injury issues ever get drafted by the Lions behind that O-line, and those running backs got killed.
So he would have been like that Washington.
Kevin Smith.
You remember Washington?
Dwayne Washington.
Washington. Everybody.
Amir Abdullah, Mr. Concussion. Javi Best, Mr. Concussion.
So do you remember when Dwayne, like all of a sudden, everybody that played fantasy football rushed to the waiver wire and picked up
Dwayne Washington.
Dwayne Washington. He's the next big thing. He's the 7th round gem. Come on, man. You know it's true.
And now, do not get me wrong. Jameson Williams is probably going to be a mega jersey seller. He more than likely is. He's saying all the right things now that he's here. People can post that picture on draft night when he was half exhausted from partying all night the night before. Say what you want. He looked high as fuck.
You know, the GPS clocked him a faster touchdown than Jonathan Taylor from Indianapolis. So
they clocked him only 2/10 of a mile slower than the cheetah, Tariq Williams.
So I think that people underestimate Jameson Williams and why he was. It's like the ceiling of this guy is like greatest wide receiver of all time. Like that he could be as good as anybody. But with that speed, you can't teach that. Somebody that's going to run at the low 4.2s or even in a 4.1, like that's fast.
And I just can't wait for one of these Green Bay Packer smokers from NFL Hard Knocks to say something about what if he drops the ball when you guys drafted a guy that was miles above everybody else in drop rate for his college career in Christian Watson.
Well, they did two things. So Jamison Williams is the type of guy that can take a wide receiver screen and split your safeties because you can't get the angle on him, and then he's going to the house. They also drafted in the fourth round. They also drafted in the fourth round James Mitchell, a tight end that specializes in pancaking cornerbacks on wide receiver screens. So,
yep.
I don't know. This is going to be a fun year, and knowing that they're going to wait, a few weeks while he builds strength in the lower body, puts on some muscle. For the ones that want to call them toothpick legs, it's like they understand that they got to put some muscle on. That's what happens. That's why they have trainers, and that's what they're going to do.
The biggest linebacker that I wanted to work out in the Millen era was Teddy Lehman. I loved everything about that kid coming out of college. He looked amazing.
Yeah.
And the fact he just couldn't stay healthy sucked.
Yeah, they were saying Spielman right off the gate with him. He had a lot of similarities to Chris Spielman. But I like the spot. I'm excited because I think that 2023 is the Lion. That's when they wanted to launch this whole thing.
I have said that since we got the regime. I said, if this regime it keeps building the way they did the first year, 2023, with that extra first round pick, that is the year.
That's what they project to be the launch point. But if Brad Holmes does a good job, which he has over the last, there's not. It could be a possibility that they could arrive a year early. It really just depends on those late round linebackers that they picked up, because I think they solidified the back end with Kirby Joseph and who was the free agent they brought, Elliott.
Deshaun Elliott.
Yeah. So
from the Ravens.
And so they're good, young. They got a great cornerbacks coach. So it's just that middle. The Angela, which is Annalise. Oh my gosh! Come on, guy.
Fabio Zone.
That guy. He makes
Fabio Zone.
Yeah. So if he's not starting, we get Malcolm Rodriguez and James Houston in there, and then we're getting after the passer. That's what I'm gonna like, and then we're running the ball down people's throat because our offensive line is better than your defensive line. That can happen this year. There's no, Goff isn't Swift. It doesn't take a genius to turn the ball, turn around, hand the ball off to Swift, hand the ball off to Jamal Williams, hand the ball off to Craig Reynolds. You can do that. You can throw the ball short to DJ Shark. He's got the speed to take it to the house. Amon-Ra St. Brown proved that he's a badass slot receiver and he can play outside and he's tough. Reynolds opened up the offense when he came here.
Yeah, well, it was a combination of things. We didn't play for 2 weeks as that transition. When Goff came back, he didn't play the Thanksgiving Day game. It was the game after that, and all of a sudden, everything clicked. The wide receivers started getting more separation. You know who was the worst wide receiver for separation in the league last year? And it was not a Lion. It was a guy that didn't want to play for the team that tagged him. It was Allen Robinson, and it wasn't even close. He had a 0.7 yards of separation last season.
So he wasn't getting open.
He was not getting open because he didn't want to be there, so he played like it. And I think that was quietly a great pickup for the Rams because he's gone to a team that has a chance and he wants to play for.
Think about this. Like Allen Robinson, as good as he is, because I think he's about ready to have a career year because he's never had a quarterback even close to the caliber of Matt Stafford.
Nope.
And it's like, I think that Stafford is a great quarterback. I don't think he's as good as what people, a lot of people crown him as, but he's definitely a great quarterback. And he's definitely
a top 10 talent.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
I don't have him in the top 5 yet. Even though he won a Super Bowl, he's not a top 5 QB.
Well, now he has an opportunity. He's got Allen Robinson and he's got Cooper Kupp. That's a stacked.
And Robert Woods coming back, and you got OBJ that's sitting in free agency and still recovering from his non-contact ACL injury in the Super Bowl. Who's to say they're not going to be able to sign him cheap on a prove-it deal when he comes back? You add OBJ to that wide receiver room, that's nasty.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. And I feel the same way about Goff, where it's like Holmes has done an excellent job at surrounding him with, there's zero excuses. Like, I mean, you got
no
three
excuses.
You got 3 good tight ends. You got 3 good running backs. You got a wide receiver room that's stacked from 1 to 6 that any
5
can
deep
play.
Is decent. 5 deep that are decent, and a 6th that's okay. Seriously, that's where I'm at.
And then there's a top 5 offensive line to boot with depth.
Top 3 according to PFF.
And then the depth on top of that were guys that, anchored a top 15 offensive line with our depth. So like I said, I really think that it really just goes to the middle of that defense. If one of those or 2 of those linebackers can step up that are young, like Malcolm Rodriguez or, maybe Barnes, Julian Okora takes a step forward. You're like, somebody comes out of that middle.
Well, Okora will be playing as the OLB is what they're saying. Romeo, we don't know when he'll be back yet.
Yeah.
Eric Shaw says Goff doesn't play as dumb as Stafford does. He played horrible the first 8 games because new team. Not sure if he had anyone to throw to or protection. Actually, believe it or not, through the first 8 games, Goff had some of the most time in the pocket, but the play calling was so horrible, nobody was getting open. It was very difficult. He was playing with the offensive coordinator that didn't want him to.
And you can feel that when you don't have as much zip on the ball. You're not running a play with a lot of confidence. You give up on the play. That's one of the things I saw in the first 10 games that he did a lot. He gave up on the play because he didn't believe in it. Wasn't believing in the play. So I was like, oh, well, there, my first read's gone. I better take the sack. I don't want to fumble the ball.
Take the sack or do the check down.
Do the check. Here you go, Swift.
Here you go, Hawk. Here you go. Amon-Ra on a crossing route.
But it was good to see at the end of the season, like a little bit of the style of what they're trying to go for. You can because I can tell he wants to run the ball down people's throat. Now think about this: if Frank Ragnow was playing, because I think that he's a top 3 center.
He is.
So I think because 6 of the games came down to a 4th or something that got stuffed. And I believe that they could have won a good portion of those games because they only needed a yard to close out some of those games. Like the Baltimore game. It would have just been like, that, you're done. I think 4 or 5 of those games could have turned around. That doesn't make us in the playoffs, but, we get pegged as a 3-win team. Maybe the best 3-win team in the history of football. I'll put my 3-win team up against any 3-win team ever. Oh. Watson will get no less than a year. Indefinite. That's crazy to think about. $230 million. $230 million, and you're like, oh yeah, we check all the boxes, Smokin' Jay. We We did our due diligence.
You just made the list.
Come on now.
Human name.
Well, next Wednesday, it's my AFC West review, which means I'll be looking for Chiefs, Broncos. I already have a Chargers fan and Raiders. So if y'all are watching tonight, please tune in. This has been a great show. And Eric Sean comes in with one more. I see what the game plan is. Goff is a total game manager. Give him protection. He can throw deep. If he throws an INT, he isn't going to go all Stafford. With that being said, Stafford didn't go as much of Stafford as he did last year. And LOL, Doug Karsh is a great friend of mine. Yes, I do. We've talked about this before, Eric. But I got my Chargers fan. It's Tyler Sandak, BoltFan44 is what he goes by on YouTube. He's been tuning into my show since the beginning and been a great supporter of the show. I love doing this stuff. I think it's fun to do reviews of other divisions and talk about it because it gives us a chance to talk about something other than just our team. It gives us a chance to look at the insight and actually look at the players by position groups, rank them as they go. And this year, I don't have the Chiefs as the number one wide receiver room in the West.
What?
You just made the list.
I'm just saying that now.
So but we have to wait.
It's a toss-up between the Raiders and Chargers. Yeah,
we have to wait till next week to go through that. You know what? I might even throw some what I think is like fantasy. Do you play fantasy? Are you fantasy?
I do from time to time.
So yeah, that's what I want. I want to go through some fantasy.
The number one fantasy wide receiver is actually on the Raiders.
It's in that division. In that division, that's where fantasy is going to be the funnest. You mind if I come on?
Yeah. No, you can come on. I'll invite you.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. It's going to be a blast. I love what you're doing there with the best running back not named Barry Sanders list. I got to look at your QB one.
We're taking it. We're taking it to the next level right there. Get this. We're going to end up doing. This is going to be the greatest tight ends of all time, not named Dan Campbell.
Oh yes.
What? Yeah, that one's going to be.
I have some great car stories. Nothing bad. That's awesome, Sean.
But yeah, I'm going to hop off here. I got to put this kid to bed. This was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I had fun. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to talk to my fans for a minute, and then I'm going to get off here as well.
All right, there. Take it easy, brother.
Yeah. This has been a great show. I want to thank Nina and Russell for hopping on. I invited a few others. They couldn't make it. But I'm trying to get a Cardinals fan to hop in real quick. Thanks, Eric. If this Cardinals fan come on, it's going to go a little longer because I'm going to talk to him more in depth about his roster and what he thinks with of his team. I mean, I have them as the third best roster overall. I have Seattle as the dumpster fire they are. Thanks, Eric, about saying the great show. I love doing this stuff. I think it's fun. Man, I love the interaction I get with y'all. You guys have made this fun. even the hater that came in and talking about our big losses. I mean, every team's going to have a big loss. Eric Sean says, my dad hired Doug Karsh as an intern while he just out of high school from Ann Arbor Pioneer. Hired him for his first paying at WTKA Ann Arbor. That's awesome. I mean, I haven't been blessed with a radio job or a TV personality. I'm doing this because it's just something I love to do. I love talking football. I love talking about our Lions. I love the direction we're going. As I said before, winning in December and January is huge for a team that has a losing culture. We haven't had a Lions team win in December and January with a winning culture other than 1991. So say what you want. The direction is changing. We have more depth than we've had in the previous year. We have better coaching than we had in the previous 3 years before that. And if anybody doesn't see that, they're wrong. In 1997, Doug and I sat together in the end zone to watch Woodson return the punt and go on to the NCAA title. That was a great year. Oh. The key to this team being good is health. It's nothing other than that. If we end up with 18 to 20 on the IR again, it's going to be an abysmal season. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I just hope with the better strength and conditioning staff that we hired last year, just at the preseason after we fired the other guys, I hope with this offseason they do make the team better, because that is what's going to be amazing. Eric Sean says, Doug is cool as hell and he's my dad's other son. You know, that's awesome. I love that too. Hey, Eric, you should see if Doug wants to come on the show for a minute. That would be great. Hell, you should come on this Friday when we do the Lions talk. If you could ever get free by 8 p.m. Yeah, because they're doing the team first mentality. There's not a guy on this team that doesn't talk about playoffs and Super Bowl as the destination that they're headed. That is why I'm happy. That is what I've been waiting to hear out of everybody's mouth, and we haven't heard that. I should be able to make it. I will send you the link then Friday, because that's the Man Cave chat, you know. I love the Man Cave chat. It's one of my favorite shows. Yep, Fridays looks like this. Every Friday. Yeah, I'm trying to work on getting him to understand how to copy and paste with his iPad. He struggles with that at times. I'll work with it. Show him how to do it again. If he can't be here in person, I'll make sure he's in the comments. That's for sure. He loves it when we do that. Eric Sean says, I literally have not been this excited about our future. Neither have I. I mean, that is why I created the show. I mean, I am super excited going forward. Eric Sean says, your dad is hilarious. Oh, trust me, I know. Now you know where I get my sense of humor from. Between him and my uncle, I'm full of piss and vinegar and Mountain Dew. By the way, I cannot wait to add. And Eric Sean said, yep, hence why I love you. I love you too, bro. I can't wait to add to, wrong one. That collection right there. I got 2 more coming in the next couple of months. I heard it's a certain couple players by the name of Aiden Hutchinson and Panay Sewell. Can't go wrong having those signed helmets. The blue one, Barry Sanders, Charles Harris, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm excited to see the waiver wire. Holmes snags gold there too. Yes, he does. I mean, and we don't always hit the waiver wire right away, but because we were second in the draft and second worst record overall, that's where we fit in the waiver wire. We get second pickings. It's awesome because the Jags basically blew their wad in between the 3 players they signed, Brandon Sharif, Christian Kirk, and Zay Jones. So they're in a cash over cap situation coming too. And Sheila may want to do that. She may want to do the cash over cap thing going forward when we're a team ready to compete at the highest level. That's when those owners do that. You don't do it before then because the team's not ready. We got to see what's going to happen on that field first. Jags are lions under Quinn's stupidity. I don't even think Quinn was as stupid as Belky. He's, it's pretty bad when they say, oh, we're going to hire Byron Leftwich. And Byron Leftwich said, fire the GM and I'm in. Turns down $6 million a year, go back to be the QB coach at Tampa Bay. But I am more excited about what stacked teams release. Yeah, that being said, they say we still got $9 million in cap, and I don't know how. I'm doing the numbers in my head, and it doesn't add up to that. There was only a $4 million rollover from the previous season, so that gave us from 208 to 212. I don't know how we're sitting where we're sitting, other than Matt Dunstall is a capologist genius. The only guy we kept from the Quintricia regime. Think about that. We kept one guy. And so far, he's doing a great job. Green Bay is going to release some gold. Yeah, as long as it's not covered with mold, I'm good with it. Like, I could see Cobb getting released because he's kind of ancient. He's a corpse of what he used to be. Well, Cody hasn't made it in, so I'm going to call it a night. I'm glad for the comments, Eric. You guys have a great night. Thanks for watching Kneecap Biting with Smokin' Jeremy B. Have an excellent evening.